Listen to me carefully. If you're a woman watching this right now, there's a very high chance you don't even realize just how attractive you already are. You walk around doubting yourself, comparing yourself to other women, lowering your standards for men who don't deserve you, and convincing yourself that you're not enough. You look at the mirror and you pick yourself apart. Your hair, your weight, your face, your skin, your clothes, and you whisper to yourself, if I fix this, maybe then I'll finally feel beautiful. And let me tell you something. That is the biggest lie you've ever believed. Because the truth is, men already see something in you that you've been blind to. The truth is, you're attractive in ways you don't even recognize yet. But here's the problem. Women have been trained to underestimate themselves, to play small, to act desperate, to chase scraps of attention from men instead of demanding respect. You've been taught to think beauty is something you buy in a store, when in reality, it's something you radiate when you finally understand your power. So today, I'm going to expose you to 5 signs you're an attractive woman, even if you can't see it yet. And I'm not talking about superficial nonsense like how thick your lashes are or how smooth your skin looks under good lighting. I'm talking about the kind of attraction that stops men in their tracks, the kind that earns respect, the kind that shifts the atmosphere the moment you walk into a room. And let me warn you, this isn't going to be soft, sweet advice. I'm not here to babysit your insecurities. I'm here to wake you up. Because too many women are walking through life asleep, blind to their beauty, blind to their value, blind to their power. And the world is happy to keep you there. Men benefit when you don't see your worth. Society benefits when you doubt yourself. And it's time to burn that lie down. So, if you've ever wondered why certain men stare at you, why other women sometimes get weirdly competitive around you, why people seem to treat you differently but you don't know why, pay attention. Because you're about to recognize yourself in these signs. And when you do, I expect you to stop apologizing for it. I expect you to stop dimming your light. I expect you to finally own what's been yours all along. 1. Men get nervous around you, even if you think you're ordinary. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how some men suddenly get awkward around you? They stutter. They lose their train of thought. They act either too loud or too quiet. Maybe they avoid eye contact. Or worse, they look everywhere but at you, like they don't even notice you. And you tell yourself, oh, he's not interested. But you couldn't be more wrong. When men get nervous around you, it's not because you're invisible. It's because you're intimidating in ways you can't even see. They can feel your presence, your energy, your feminine power, and it shakes them. Do you know what Marcus Aurelius said? The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. That means people can feel what's going on inside you, even when you don't say a word. If you carry yourself with quiet strength, if you walk into a room with dignity, even if you don't think you're the most gorgeous woman alive, men sense it. They feel it in their gut. And suddenly, they don't know how to act. But here's the mistake most women make. When they see men getting nervous or awkward, they assume it's a bad thing. They think, oh, maybe he's not attracted to me. The truth is, he's too attracted to you, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Think about movies where the strong, silent woman shows up. Remember The Devil Wears Prada? Miranda Priestley didn't need to shout to dominate a room. She didn't need to chase men down or beg for attention. She walked in, calm, collected, and intimidating, and everyone around her scrambled. Why? Because her presence spoke louder than words, and that's exactly what's happening to you. Men aren't nervous because you're lacking something. They're nervous because you have something powerful that you don't even see in yourself. So stop interpreting their nervousness as rejection. Start recognizing it for what it is, a sign that you're already magnetic. a sign that your beauty and presence are stronger than you think. But let me be clear, this power only means something if you own it. Too many women ruin their attraction by shrinking themselves to make men feel comfortable. You laugh too hard at their bad jokes. You pretend to be interested in things you don't care about. You act small because you don't want to come off as too much. And every time you do that, you give your power away. Stop apologizing for being intimidating. Stop softening yourself so a man doesn't feel insecure. If he's the right man, he won't run from your strength. He'll rise to meet it. 2. Other women feel threatened by you, even if you're not trying. Now, this one might sting a little, but you need to hear it. If you've ever walked into a room and suddenly felt other women sizing you up, whispering to each other, or treating you coldly for no reason, you probably thought, what did I do wrong? Let me tell you what you did. You existed as an attractive woman, and they saw it before you did. Here's the hard truth. Women often recognize each other's beauty and power faster than men do, and not every woman celebrates it. Some feel threatened, some feel jealous, some feel competitive, and when you don't recognize your own attractiveness, you'll misinterpret their reactions. You'll think, why don't they like me? I must be the problem. You're not the problem. Your presence simply exposes their insecurity. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Do you know how many women waste their lives competing with each other instead of realizing that their true value doesn't diminish because someone else is shining? But when you walk in unaware of your power, your natural glow makes insecure women feel like they're fading. And instead of admiring you, they attack you. Think of Cleopatra. History remembers her as one of the most powerful and captivating women of all time. Was she the most traditionally beautiful? Not necessarily, but her presence was undeniable. She was intelligent, strategic, magnetic, and other women despised her for it. Why? Because she carried herself like she deserved the throne, and she claimed it. And here's where you need to wake up. If other women are treating you like competition when you haven't even entered the competition, it's because they see something you don't. They see the beauty, the charm, the strength you keep denying. But here's where most women go wrong. Instead of recognizing this as a sign of attraction, they fold. They shrink. They dim themselves so other women won't feel threatened. They tone down their outfits. They stop speaking up. They try to blend in. And do you know what happens when you do that? You hand over your crown. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to make insecure people feel better about themselves. If another woman feels threatened by you, that's her problem to solve, not yours. You don't need to apologize for your beauty, your presence, or your energy. Attractive women often don't see themselves clearly because they confuse hostility with rejection. But let me tell you, hostility is just another form of recognition. If people are reacting strongly to you, it means you matter. It means you're seen. And deep down, it means you're already radiating an energy you've been blind to. So the next time another woman side-eyes you, whispers about you, or treats you coldly without reason, don't shrink. Don't apologize. Smile. Because whether she'll admit it or not, she sees your light. And those are just the first 2 signs. But trust me, they're only the beginning. Because once you understand how men react to your presence and how women mirror your power back at you, you'll start seeing a bigger picture. Attraction is not just about looks, it's about energy, presence, and how you carry yourself. And in the next part, we're going even deeper. We'll talk about the hidden ways men test you without even realizing it, the subtle signals that prove your femininity is magnetic, and the exact mindset shifts you need to finally see what others already see in you. But before we get there, let these first 2 signs sink in, because you've been blind to your own beauty for too long. and it's time to wake up, have already exposed the first two signs. You intimidate men without realizing it, and you trigger jealousy in women even when you're not trying. Those alone should have made you sit up straight and start questioning the story you've been telling yourself. But if you're still in denial, buckle up, because the next signs are going to hit even harder. I want you to remember something before we dive in. Attraction isn't just about what you look like. It's about how you move, how you speak, how you treat yourself. It's about the unshakable signal you send into the world without even realizing it. And the reason so many women can't see their own attractiveness is because they've been trained to believe attraction is something you put on, a lipstick, a dress, a hairstyle, instead of something you radiate. But let me tell you, real attraction cannot be faked. And that's why these next signs are so important. 3. Men, test your boundaries because they're drawn to you. I need you to stop and think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed how certain men push your buttons? They tease you. They challenge you. They push boundaries. Not always in big, obvious ways, but in small, subtle ones. Maybe a man makes a risky joke just to see how you'll react. Maybe he forgets to text back quickly, just to measure your patience. Maybe he flirts with you in a way that feels like he's trying to get under your skin, and you think, what is wrong with him? But here's the truth. Men don't test women they're not interested in. They test women they're attracted to. This is where women fail, because they misinterpret these tests. Instead of recognizing them as a sign of attraction, they crumble. They beg for validation. They prove their loyalty before it's even earned. They jump through hoops trying to pass the test. And do you know what happens when you do that? You fail. Here's what you need to understand. When a man tests you, he's not consciously plotting some master plan. He's simply drawn to your presence, and instinctively, he wants to see if you're as strong as you appear. He wants to see if you respect yourself. He wants to see if you're the type of woman who folds, or the type who stands her ground. Think about it. In the movie 300, when Leonidas tested his warriors, it wasn't because he hated them. It was because he needed to know who was worthy to stand beside him. And men, whether they admit it or not, do the same thing with women they're attracted to. The problem is, most women misinterpret the test. They think, oh no, he's pulling away. I need to chase harder. I need to prove I'm good enough. And that, my dear, is exactly how you destroy your attraction. If a man is testing you, that's your moment to stand firm. That's your moment to show you won't be disrespected, you won't beg, you won't crumble. You know who you are, and you don't need his approval to confirm it. Remember what Epictetus said. No man is free who is not master of himself. If you can't master your emotions when a man plays games, you're not free, you're a puppet. But if you hold your ground, if you respond with calm strength, you immediately become unforgettable. Men test attractive women. Weak men test them to break them. Strong men test them to find a worthy partner. Either way, if you're being tested, it's a sign you already carry the kind of attraction that makes men curious enough to push. And how you respond determines whether you rise into your power or sink back into weakness. 4. People listen. When you speak, even when you say very little. Another sign you're more attractive than you realize is this. People pay attention when you speak. Have you ever noticed how a room quiets down when you add your voice? Have you noticed how, when you share an opinion, people actually pause and reflect, even if you weren't trying to be profound? This is not normal. And if you're blind to it, you'll think, oh, maybe I just got lucky with timing. Number. This is attraction. This is presence. This is the quiet power of a woman who carries herself with dignity. Attractive women often underestimate this sign because they confuse talking a lot with being heard. But let me tell you something. The most attractive women are not the loudest in the room. They're the ones who can silence a crowd with a single sentence. Think of Queen Esther from history. She didn't beg, she didn't shout, she chose her words with care. And when she spoke, kings listened. Why? Because her presence amplified her words. And that's exactly what happens with you. But here's the tragedy. So many women sabotage this natural gift. Instead of speaking with strength, they over-explain, over-apologize, overshare. They flood their sentences with nervous laughter. They try to fill every silence with noise, and in doing so, they weaken the very power they were born with. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In the same way, waste no more time arguing about being an attractive woman. Be one. And part of being one is owning your voice without apology. If people listen when you speak, it's not a coincidence. It's not luck. It's not politeness. It's because your energy commands attention. And the moment you stop apologizing for that, the moment you own it, you transform from invisible to unforgettable. 5. You don't chase attention, yet you still get it. Now let's talk about one of the most undeniable signs you're attractive. You don't even chase attention, but it still finds you. Maybe you're the type who doesn't post 100 selfies online, and yet your presence is still felt. Maybe you're not constantly in a man's face, yet somehow he keeps circling back to you. Maybe you don't dress the loudest, yet people notice when you walk in. That's not an accident. That's magnetic energy. That's feminine power. And too many women dismiss it because they think attraction means desperately performing for approval. Let me tell you something. The moment you stop chasing, you start radiating. In the movie Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara wasn't attractive because she begged men to notice her. She was attractive because she carried herself with such stubborn fire that men couldn't ignore her. Even when she wasn't trying, she pulled them in. The tragedy is, too many women sabotage themselves by chasing. You double text. You stalk his social media. You beg for attention that was already yours without lifting a finger. And when you do that, you destroy the very aura that made you attractive in the first place. Do you know what Seneca said? He who is brave is free. When you stop fearing rejection, when you stop chasing, when you stop begging, you become free. And in that freedom, you shine brighter than any woman who is scrambling for scraps of validation. If attention follows you without you lifting a finger, that is not something to apologize for. That's not something to downplay. That is the clearest sign that your energy, your presence, your natural essence already speaks louder than words. And yet, here you are, blind to it, dismissing it, shrinking from it. Not anymore, because now you know. So, have uncovered 5 powerful signs so far. And by now, you should already be realizing just how much you've been underestimating yourself. You should be starting to see that your attractiveness has nothing to do with desperate effort and everything to do with how you carry yourself, how you hold your boundaries, how you refuse to shrink. But we're not done. Because the final 2 signs are the most powerful of all. These are the signs that separate the ordinary from the unforgettable. These are the signs that, once you recognize them, will completely change the way you walk through this world. And when we get to them, I'm going to give you the final wake-up call that will shake you out of your weakness forever. You should be realizing that the very things you dismissed as normal were actually signs of your power. You've seen how men get nervous around you, how women feel threatened by you, how men test you, how people listen when you speak, and how you pull attention without even chasing it. Those are not coincidences. Those are not accidents. Those are the fingerprints of your attractiveness stamped all over your life. But I told you, there are 7 signs, and the last 2 are the ones that will completely rip away the veil you've been living under. Because these final ones are not just about how the world reacts to you, but about how you've been reacting to yourself. And once you see them, you'll never be able to lie to yourself again about who you are. 6. You've been told. You're intimidating, but you've taken it as insult instead of proof. Let me ask you something. How many times have you been told you're intimidating? Maybe a man said it. Maybe another woman said it. Maybe you've heard it whispered behind your back. And what did you do? You treated it like a weakness. You thought, oh no, I'm too much. I should tone myself down. I should make myself smaller, softer, easier to swallow. And that right there is why you can't see your own attractiveness. Because intimidation is not an insult. It's a confession. It's people admitting they feel your power, even when you don't. Do you think Cleopatra apologized for being intimidating? Do you think Joan of Arc stood in front of an army of men and thought, oh no, I should smile more so they don't find me scary? Do you think Marcus Aurelius respected the weak, simpering, agreeable voices in his court, or the ones who dared to stand strong? Being called intimidating means your energy is undeniable. It means people feel the weight of your presence. It means you're already radiating the kind of strength that weak people can't handle. But here's the truth. Most women throw away that gift. They hear intimidating, and instead of smiling and saying, exactly, they shrink. They soften. They dilute themselves until they're palatable. And in the process, they destroy the very attraction that set them apart. Listen to me carefully. If people call you intimidating, you're already winning. It means you're already magnetic. It means you're already commanding respect, even when you don't try. Stop taking it as an insult. Start treating it as proof. Because the most attractive women aren't the ones everyone finds easy. They're the ones everyone remembers. And you don't get remembered by being forgettable. You get remembered by shaking people, even if it scares them. 7. You underestimate yourself, but others can't stop overestimating you. And this, my dear, is the ultimate sign. If you can't see your attractiveness, but people constantly assume you're more confident, more capable, more powerful than you really feel inside, that's your final wake-up call. Have you ever noticed how people project strength onto you? How they expect you to lead, to hold it together, to rise to the occasion, even when you don't feel ready? Have you noticed how men assume you're harder to get than you actually are? Or how women assume you're more secure than you really feel? That's because, whether you realize it or not, you radiate an energy that tells the world you're not ordinary. You might feel insecure inside, but insecurity doesn't erase presence. You might doubt yourself privately, but doubt doesn't cancel out magnetism. This is why people misjudge you as out of their league. This is why men approach you with hesitation, or not at all. This is why people assume you have options, even when you're home alone, questioning everything about yourself. They're not imagining it, they're sensing it. And let me tell you something powerful. Sometimes strangers can see your beauty clearer than you can. Because they're not blinded by your inner critic. They're not poisoned by your self-doubt. They're just reacting to what's already there. Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, stop clinging to the idea of how you think you should be perceived. Start paying attention to how you're actually being perceived. Because the gap between how you see yourself and how others see you is where your hidden attractiveness lives. If people keep assuming you're stronger, more beautiful, more magnetic than you believe, stop dismissing them. Stop saying, oh, they're just being nice. They're seeing what you've been trained not to see. And it's time you started believing it.